Welcome to the Redeemed Vision podcast, where we bring sight to the blind and freedom to those enslaved by our pornified culture. Here, we dive into hard but important topics such as pornography, sexual identity, true freedom, real love, and living marriage well. Go deep with us as we uncover what Redeemed Vision means for each of us living in the world today. Come to know yourself, the power of redemption through Jesus Christ, the joy of laughter, and how to live in gratitude and wonder. This is Redeemed Vision.
Welcome back to the Redeemed Vision podcast. I'm Steve Pokorny, the host of this podcast. And before we get started, I just want to thank you for being here. And I want to encourage you to to follow us, to share this podcast, because I think especially with what we're about to talk about today, it's really important. Now, we're in the Easter season. And when you think about Easter is a beautiful time, that day in which all of life transformed itself because of one man raising himself from the dead. But he wasn't just a man, he was the God-man. He was Jesus Christ. He is Jesus Christ, who is very much still alive with us. And we come from that time of Lent, and for those who participate in that, it's suffering, it's difficult. And Easter Day and what follows is just joy and beauty. So we're a few weeks into this Easter season, and while the church celebrates this feast of Easter for 40 days, you may be having a very different experience. I mean, maybe you're in this place. The screen goes dark, but the silence gets loud. Shame sits heavy in your chest, and you're telling yourself, I'll do better tomorrow, or next week, or after Easter, or after I finally get serious, whenever that is. Now, beneath all of these promises and self-pep talks, there's a quieter fear that whispers, maybe this is who I am. So if you've ever felt like this, or maybe you're there right now, you're still stuck in what we call Holy Saturday. It's a Holy Saturday moment or season. So if you recall, Holy Saturday, that was the day when the disciples, they sat behind locked doors. They were convinced that the story was over. And it was that day when silence felt like abandonment, when the future felt like a tomb, and hope was just a memory. It was the day when nothing was apparently moving, not the grief, nor the fear, nor the shame. Just stuck. And for many men and women who are caught in the grip of pornography or unchaste behavior, Holy Saturday feels familiar. It feels like home. It's a place of being uncomfortably numb. Or maybe comfortably numb. We've just decided this is the way life is. But Easter, it's not a metaphor. What happened in the garden outside Jerusalem is not just a happy ending to a sad story. The resurrection is a world-splitting, death-breaking, identity-rewriting event. And it has everything to do with your body, with your desires, and with your sexuality. How so? Well, let's walk into this garden together. See, I want you to stand in that garden for a moment. Right? That garden where Jesus' body was laid. That Sunday morning, the air is cold. The sky is still bruised with night. Mary Magdalene, she approaches the tomb and she expects the stench of death. Instead, she finds the stone flung aside like a discarded shield. The world has shifted. It's disorienting for her. Something impossible has happened to a body, a real human body with bones and nerves and scars. See, the resurrection, it's not a spiritual metaphor. It's the most physical event in human history. That same Jesus who sweat blood, who was scourged, who was nailed, who hung on a cross with torn flesh, now stands alive in a glorified body that still bears the wounds, not as reminders of defeat, but as trophies of victory. Think about this, right? If Jesus rose bodily, which he did, then your body, it's not an accident. It's not a prison. It's not a problem to be solved. It's the arena where redemption unfolds. It's the place where grace wants to take root, and the very instrument through which God desires to reveal his love. See, pornography trains you to see your body as a commodity. The resurrection reveals your body as a prophecy. Whereas shame tells you that your desires are dangerous, the resurrection tells you that your desires are meant for glory. Whereas concupiscence, that desire to want to be selfish, says your body is ruled by instinct, the resurrection says your body is destined for communion, a common union with others. See, when Jesus walked out of the tomb, he didn't just conquer death. He inaugurated a new way of being human. Cue Switchfoot, a new way to be human. If you don't know the song, go look it up. And this new humanity includes your sexuality, your desires, your wounds, and your longing for love. All of it. Easter is God's declaration that your body is not beyond redemption. It's the very place where redemption begins. See, go back to the upper room. Picture that space. The disciples, they're huddled together, their shadows flickering on the walls, the little lights that they have around them. See, the air is thick with fear. No one speaks, unsure of what's going to come next. And the doors are bolted shut, not just to keep danger out, but to keep their shame in. Then, without a sound, he is there. The risen Christ does not knock. He does not wait for permission. He does not demand an explanation for things that we've done to screw up. No, he steps into the locked room, into that room they sealed because they believed they were beyond hope. And he speaks the first words of the new creation. Peace be with you. This, my brothers and sisters, is mercy. This is also what we in the Catholic world have revealed to us in the sacrament of confession or penance or reconciliation. This is what this truly is. It's not a courtroom. It's not a performance review. It's not a place where you're going to prove your sincerity. See, confession is the moment when the risen Christ walks through the locked doors of your shame, the doors you thought would keep him out. And he speaks peace into the places you've been hiding. He doesn't flinch at your wounds. He doesn't recoil at your failures, nor hesitate at your history. He comes straight into the room that you're most afraid to show him. You want to go in there? Yeah. He wants to go in there. And he wants to fill it with his beautiful resurrection light. See, pornography tells a story about you. It's a cruel story. It says your desires are uncontrollable. They're unworthy of being seen and known. That your wounds are permanent. That your failures define you. And that your history is your identity. You'll never be anything more than this. But the resurrection tells a different story. See, St. Paul writes in Romans 6, verse 4, we were buried, therefore, with him by baptism into death, so that as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, we too might walk in newness of life. Not limp, not crawl, but walk. The resurrection is not a spiritual consolation prize. It's the power that rewrites your entire narrative, including your sexual story, in the light of this remarkable historical event we call Easter. See, your desires are not enemies. They're seeds of communion. Your body, it's not a battleground, it's a temple. Your wounds are not disqualification of love and intimacy. They're places of grace where they can really bloom as these Easter flowers do. And your past is not a prison. It's a soil for resurrection. So the risen Christ is not coming to erase your story. If you'll let him, he'll resurrect it. He takes the very places where you betrayed yourself, shall we call them the Gethsemanes of your life, and he transforms them into the places where his victory takes root. Your sexual story, it's not over. It's being rewritten by the one who walked out of that tomb on that fateful and glorious Sunday morning. Easter is not an idea to admire from a distance. No, it's an invitation to come in. It's a voice that calls your name. It is the sound of a stone rolling away from the place you thought your story ended. It's the warmth of dawn touching the edges of a night you believed would never break. See, the Easter invitation, it's not a command to perform or a demand to prove yourself worthy. No, it's the same gentle, insistent approach of the risen Christ stepping towards you with the same tenderness he showed Mary in the garden, the same peace he breathed in the locked room of his frightened friends. See, Jesus comes to you not after you've cleaned yourself up, but in the very place where shame has settled like dust. He comes into the room you've sealed shut, the room where you keep your failures, your secrets, your fears about your own body and desires, and he does not hesitate. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't ask you to hide anything or clean up your mess or get things in order before he's willing to see you. No, he simply stands before you, radiant with a life stronger than death, and speaks the word your heart has been starving for. Peace. His peace. The peace the world just cannot give. And here's the best part. It's being offered to you freely. The Easter invitation is the realization that the one who walked out of the tomb is walking towards you right now. Not toward the version of you that you hope to become someday, but toward the you who exists in this moment. The you who feels stuck, who feels unworthy and wonders, is freedom really possible? Is freedom really meant for me? I'm here to tell you, my brothers and sisters, you're just not that special. It's for you. So Jesus comes not to scold us, but to restore us. Not to shame, but to lift. Not to condemn us, but to call us into the light that pours from that empty tomb. To accept this invitation, it's to let the truth of the resurrection seep into the places where lies have lived for far too long. It's to allow the warmth of Easter morning to thaw the cold corners of your heart. It's to believe, my brothers and sisters, maybe even tremblingly, the God who conquered death, he's not grown tired of you. He hasn't given up on you. And he hasn't changed his mind about your dignity and worth. The Easter season is all about letting Jesus take you by the hand and lead you out of the grave you thought was permanent. This time, this Easter time, this Easter tide, we like to say, the tide has come in, the tide of freedom. It's the doorway into a new way of seeing, a new way of desiring, a new way of living in your own skin. It's the moment when the story you thought was over begins again to burst with impossible light. So the invitation of the Easter season, of this Easter season, right now, is simple. Step toward the one who's already stepped toward you. Let him speak your name. Let him breathe peace into your shame. Let him show you that the tomb, your tomb, is empty. If this touched you, if there's something stirring in you, especially those of my brothers and sisters who are hearing this, who are trapped in that struggle with pornography and unchaste behavior, I want you to know that there's a better way than just sin management, of just limping along. I want to invite you to check out Freedom Coaching, freedom-coaching.net, where we work with men and women in a one-to-one mentoring system to break forever the power of pornified images through a transformation of mind, heart, and vision. And if you go to that website, freedom-coaching.net, at the very top, there's this little link for a Freedom Score quiz. It takes 2 minutes of your life. It'll allow you to see in 4 key areas where you might need some help, where perhaps what we do can support you, and even more, to transform you, to become who you truly are. I'm Steve Pokorny. This is the Redeemed Vision podcast. And until next time, remember, nothing is wasted and everything is redeemable. God bless.
The Redeemed Vision podcast is an outreach of Freedom Coaching. To learn more, check out freedom-coaching.net and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and MeWe.